All right, everybody, welcome to another video. I've received a question that was very important to discuss, very important to touch on. So I'm going to touch on that right now very briefly, as quickly as I can touch on it. The question being, what got me into the practice of meditation? So try to keep it short. Started back in college. I went to A&T. It was around my sophomore and my junior year. At this point in my development, I had realized, in hindsight, looking back, I came to a point where I realized that my mentality was very, very in such a detrimental state that it was relatively alarming. It was relatively concerning. There was a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear, a lot of depression, a lot of loneliness, and most importantly, a feeling of incompleteness, like an intuitive feeling within my soul where I knew that something was missing, like something was off. I didn't know what it was, but my soul was telling me, like, there's something here. Obviously, due to the circumstances of my life that we don't need to really get into detail, and this feeling that I'm feeling, something is not right. Therefore, what are you going to do about it? And when that came across my mind, I had a couple of options that I could have went to. I was never, at any point, even up to this day, I've never been suicidal. I've never had any sort of tendency to even want to react in that sort of manner to the state that I've been placed in on this round. And with that being said, the rationale that I would tell myself would be, I know God is real. I know God is truth. I know God is life. I know God is peace. So that means, and on top of that, most importantly, I know that God is in control. I know that my life is being guided. Therefore, I know I'm not alone on this walk. And with that being said, a good guide and a good teacher gives trials, gives lessons, gives circumstances just to test the person, to see if they're able to overcome it, if they're able to develop and grow stronger. And God is of no exception. This is where it all comes from. The whole idea of a test comes from God, because we're brought here, we're put into a circumstance that we cannot fully understand because of its complexity and its infinitude, if that's the right word. However, he is well aware of all that's going on. So he's going to place trials and circumstances in our lives, which correlates back to what I was saying with my mentality. I was in such a bad state that I felt like, all right, I need to do something. Knowing everything that I just said about how we're being guided, how I'm not alone, that means I'm in a trial. That means I need to do something in order to correct this trial, in order to bring balance into my lifestyle. And as a result of that, I went studying, I went researching. I went on YouTube, read books, and what I stumbled across, and I'm going to talk about this in another video. The first indication that I ever had about meditation was subtle. It was in an anime show. It was called Naruto. For those of you who have not watched Naruto, I highly recommend watching Naruto. Not going to get into Naruto too much, but that was the first show I ever saw meditation depicted. And it went over my head, but flash forward back to college, I was on YouTube looking for stuff. I found meditation again. I found this man named Sadhguru. Shout out to Sadhguru, because he was the one who, turned the light switch back on. I had already been introduced to meditation, but he was the one who put me back on track. He was the one who was teaching it on a broad level to a lot of people. He was the one that was bringing it back to our awareness, because like I said, it was my intuition that was calling me to change, and this is the change. So shout out to him. He was the one who put me back on track, the one who got me started back on this meditative path. And as a result of that, it's just been more and more progression, more and more growth, more and more spiritual development, more and more of a rise in vibration, which I'll talk about more in another video. And through the dedication and the consistency that I have in my spirit, I was able to overcome the hurdle of impatience, which I talked about in another video also, where I was able to do it consistently, and see the small progress that would happen day in and day out. Not exponential, but gradual. There's a big difference. And as a result of that, and my devotion to continue to do it, here I am today. So I know that was a lot. Try to keep it short. But yeah, meditation came from the trial that God put in my life. And as a result of that trial, here I am now, striving to teach this practice to as many people as I can. So God put me through a hardship so that I could overcome it, and so that I could help other people overcome it. So I know that was a lot. Again, thank you for listening. If you have any questions that you want me to address in a video form, don't hesitate to give me a DM, put it in the comment section, or whatever, email. Thank you again.